Hi, I'm Mrs. Cahill. Sorry that I couldn't be with you live today. I had a little bit of an emergency, but I hope you guys are all doing well, and I'm excited to see you tomorrow. So, what I'm going to do is go through my presentation about the syllabus and give you your assignment so that you can get credit for being present and accounted for today, and also get credit for the assignment that I'm going to give you at the end of the period. Okay, so I'm looking forward to working with you guys. I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. I promise I will be here. I apologize, and I will see you soon. Okay, guys. So, this is American literature. This is the 11th grade English course. So, it is different than any of the other English courses that you've had over the course of the years because this is strictly all American writers. We're going to be talking about the way that America was at the time that these various writers wrote and how that inspired and connected them over the course of their lifetime. Here's a little bit of information about me. This is my 16th year teaching. This is my 15th year at Penwood. So I've worked at the middle school, I've worked at Cypress Street, I've worked at Green Avenue. I've been here a while. So nothing really kind of gets past me. In when I'm not teaching, obviously, I really love to cook, and yes, I use seasoning. I like to read, and I love to travel. I've actually been to 4 of the 7 continents, so we can talk a little bit more about that later. I was actually not raised here in Delaware County. I was born and raised in the Poconos, about 2 hours northeast of here, and I moved to Delaware County to finish high school. Right now, I live with my husband, Michael, in Havertown, and my 3 year old Jackson, who keeps us extremely busy. Here is my contact information. Please use my Google Voice number or email me or send a message on Google Classroom. If it is after 3 o'clock, the best way to get a hold of me is via text on Google Voice because I'm not sitting in front of my computer really after 2:30. I go pick up my son from school, like I have other obligations. So texting me after 3 o'clock is probably going to be your best bet. But please remember, I am a mom. I am a wife. Like I have things that go on outside of school. So if you do text me, please be mindful of the time that you text me. Most of the time, I'm going to get back to you pretty quickly unless I'm out doing something or if I'm eating dinner or like giving my son a bath or that sort of thing. Okay, but that's going to be probably the way that you're going to get the quickest response from me. But please just be mindful of the time. Like, don't text me at midnight or 2 o'clock in the morning because I am definitely asleep. Every Wednesday, I have office hours from 9 until 1. So, what you're going to do is you're going to sign up on a form that I'm going to post onto Google Classroom. And during that time period, you can log on with a Google Meet address, and I will be more than happy to help you with whatever assignment you need. The most important thing that you need to remember about me, whether we're in school or whether we're learning virtually, is that unfortunately, I am not a mind reader. So you need to communicate with me and tell me where you're having problems. What are you not understanding? Am I going too fast? Do you need extra help? How specifically can I help you? You can't just say, I don't get it. You need to be specific, especially working virtually. When you say, I don't get it, I don't know what that means. Does that mean that you didn't get the assignment? Does, like, in your possession? Does that mean you don't understand the directions? Does that mean that you understand the directions, but you don't know where to start? Or you just need help with number 1 or number 7? Like, you need to make sure that you're specific so that I can help you as best as I can. So, as I said, we are focusing specifically on American literature. We're going to take a look at both fiction and nonfiction texts written from African Americans, Caucasian Americans, Latina Americans, Native Americans, Asian Americans, the whole 9 yards. But most importantly, what you need to remember is that English 11 is a mandatory class for graduation. You do not get to become a senior next year if you fail my class. So it's super duper important that you're doing everything that you can to make sure that you're passing. So here are some expectations, okay? I expect you to be present and prepared for every class. I'm going to make sure that I am present and prepared as much as I can. You have to do the same. If you're not present in class, like showing up to the live Google Meets, you're going to wind up falling behind, and then you're just going to wind up having to complete work individually, which is really not the way that it should be done. I follow the Penwood Code of Conduct, so I will not tolerate harassment, discrimination, intimidation, inappropriate language. None of that is like copacetic with me. Okay, so you need to make sure that you need to remember that even though you're still at home, when you and I are on a Zoom, on a Google Meet together, you are technically in school. Okay. With that being said, cheating and plagiarism is a big fat no. You will automatically get a 0. Depending on how many times or how severe it is, I will write a referral, and then you may or may not end up being suspended. The larger point is if I write a referral for you because you plagiarized, that's going to go on your permanent record. And for those of you who are planning on going to college after you get out of high school, that is not going to look good at all. Okay, so do yourself a favor and do the work together, please, or do it on your own. Don't copy and paste. Like, come on. I may be old, but I am not dumb. I also may be blonde, but that doesn't mean that I'm stupid, okay? So, every day when you come to class, you need to make sure that you have your My Perspectives textbook, which you should have gotten when you picked up your Chromebook. You need to be logged into Google Classroom, and you also need to make sure that you have a notebook. Yes, we will be taking notes. Sometimes you're going to be taking notes on your own. It's going to benefit you in the long run to take notes because then you won't have to go back and watch like a 10-minute video to get a 30-second piece of information that you need to know. So let's talk about grading for a second because this is really important. I hate having to fail people at the end of the year because they don't do what they're supposed to do. Okay? So here's the breakdown. 60% of your grade comes from classwork and homework. So if you never show up to class and you never turn anything in, but think that you're just going to be able to write essays or whatever and get by, newsflash, you're not. Okay? That is worth over half of your grade. So you have to show up and you have to do the work. Okay? Assessments are 25%, and that means writing assignments, quizzes, tests, essays, all of that. Okay? And then lastly, 15% is taken up by participation. And that means that 2 times a week, randomly, I'm going to take, participation credit. So it's one thing to just be sitting on a Google Meet, but you actually have to be participating, okay? So here's how classwork and homework work. Daily classwork is due at the end of the class unless I tell you otherwise, okay? Homework needs to be turned in before the start of class by the time and the date listed on the assignment. So if I say that something is due on Thursday, that means that before you and I have class on Thursday, you need to make sure that that homework is completed and submitted, okay? When I mean submit your work, I mean click the turn in button. Don't share it with me. No, that doesn't work. I need you to submit it. Okay? Now, unlike a lot of other teachers, I have a little bit of a different late policy for work. In other words, there is no late policy. I do not accept late or incomplete work. I just don't. If you turn in an assignment that's half credit, I'm just going to give you a 0. You don't get half credit or partial credit for doing part of the work. That's not how it works. You don't get part of a paycheck for doing part of your job. So that's how this kind of goes, okay? If you're unsure about an assignment, then you need to make sure that you ask me for help. I would much prefer you to try and have a wrong answer than no answer at all. IDK is not acceptable. That does not mean that you wrote down an answer. That means that you didn't try. However, if there are extenuating circumstances and you discuss them with me and we figure something out, then that's always up for discussion, okay? But again, this is about effort. If you sit here and do nothing, you're going to get nothing. So then that brings me to participation, okay? When you show up on a Google Meet, you should have all of the necessary documents in front of you already. You should have the textbook open in front of you. You should have a writing utensil. You should have your notebook. Okay, you shouldn't have to get up and go run around like a crazy person around your house to try to find these items. Okay, you need to log in on time. You need to positively participate. So I need to see you either raising your hand or adding comments in the chat box or completing things that I ask you to do while we are meeting live together. In this type of environment, it's extremely important that you have proper online etiquette, okay? First with me, but then also with the entire class, okay? If you don't, then I'm going to be forced to kick you out of my Google Classroom, which is not going to be good for anybody. Please understand that every day you log in, I must see you. Meaning, at the very least, I need to see the top of your head, not the ceiling, not the wall, not your baby sister, not your Bitmoji, not your icon. You are not allowed to have your cameras off. So if you didn't get dressed, if you didn't put your makeup on or whatever you need to feel like you are a human being, then you should probably be tipping your camera so that I can at least see your forehead and then whatever's above you, okay? So let's talk about assessments. There is a chance that there will be unannounced quizzes, especially if I feel like people are not reading or doing what I ask them to do. Chances are there's a good chance you're going to have a quiz. Assessments are going to come at the end of each unit and or the marking period. So that means that they could be an oral presentation, a take-home test, or an essay, okay? So when it comes to essays, I'm pretty much a big stickler for this one too. all of your essays must be turned in on Turnitin. So later on this week, we're going to make sure that you set up your Turnitin accounts, okay? All assignments are due by the due date listed on the assignment, regardless of attendance. So you need to kind of plan ahead. This is not good for people who procrastinate. So hopefully this will help those of you who struggle a little bit with time management. So extra credit, right? Extra credit is available throughout the year. I don't give it to certain individuals. So don't come to me, don't send me an email and say, hey, Miss Cahill, what can I do for extra credit to bring up my grade? Well, the answer is going to be check on Google Classroom. Because to be honest with you, I don't know what's going to be extra credit. Something might come up and I might say, ooh, this is really interesting. I'm going to offer extra credit with this. You don't know how many opportunities of extra credit you're going to have every quarter. It might be 1, it might be 5. Who knows? It really all depends on what's going on. Because again, this is American literature. So typically when there are certain things going on within the country that I feel like relate to what we're talking about, then that often becomes extra credit. But you can't bank on it. So just do your work. You're responsible for the work that you miss, okay? That's all that there is to it. So if you're absent, you don't just get a pass for that assignment. You need to go into Google Classroom and read the assignment for the day. Watch any videos that might have been posted. Read the directions for the assignment, whatever it is that was posted for that particular day. Only after you have read and watched all of the stuff, then email me if you have any questions. Sometimes you might even not need to email me at all, but do not send me an email that says, hey, Miss Cahill, I was absent on such and such a day. What did I miss? Because you're wasting my time and your time. Because the first thing that I'm going to respond with is, please read the assignment and watch any of the videos that were posted. Here's my absence policy. For every 1 day you're absent, you have 3 days to make up the work. You don't get to make up work, at the end of the quarter because you decided to do nothing all quarter. That's not how this works, okay? You don't get to do that in real life, in a job. You don't get to do it in Miss Cahill's English class. So here's your first assignment. Your first assignment is that you are going to look over your syllabus that has been attached with your parent or guardian. Then you are going to have your parent or guardian type these few statements. My name is, and they're going to type their name. I am the parent or guardian of, and that's going to be your name. The best way to contact me is at, and their email address or their cell phone number, okay? This can either be sent to me via email or texted to me via Google Voice. And then after they write that sentence, they're going to write, I have read the syllabus and understand the expectations of my child for English 11. Okay? So these 4 sentences need to be emailed to me or they need to be sent to me via Google Voice by Friday, September 18th by midnight. If it's not done by then, you get yourself a 0, okay? So, my golden rules. First, be nice, okay? It's not going to get you anywhere if you are rude to other people in the class or if you're rude to me. I'm not going to go out of my way to help you if you're rude. I mean, come on, that's ridiculous. So then the next thing is you need to try your best, okay? I much more appreciate and I am going to be much more willing to help you if you try your best as opposed to just shutting down and not doing anything and just like being a bump on a log. Okay. For some of you, especially those of you who are planning on going into the military, going to trade school, going to college, this is one of the most important years, because when you apply to college next fall or trade school or the military, they get your grades from 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, and really only first quarter of senior year. So all of these institutions want to see that you are improving and doing better than you did in 9th grade and in 10th grade. So this needs to be almost really the height of all of your grades. So if you got C's last year, then you need to shoot for B's this year. Okay? That's all I'm asking, is that you try your best, because I'm going to try my best, so I need you to try your best. What I need you to do now is go into the assignment on Google Classrooms and open up the Google, the syllabus quiz, finish it, and make sure that you hit turn it in. Okay? I'll see you tomorrow.